An independent analysis of European defense capabilities and strategic policy.
The interception of hostile aerial vectors over the Red Sea by the destroyer Caio Duilio served as more than a tactical validation of Italian naval competence. It functioned as a stress test for a combat system designed in a previous geopolitical era. While the successful engagement demonstrated the lethality of the existing PAOMS system against conventional threats, the evolving strategic environment in the Mediterranean demands a capability profile that extends significantly past the horizon of traditional air warfare. The decision to pursue a comprehensive midlife update for the Orizzonte-class destroyers is, therefore, not merely a sustainment activity to extend hull life. It is a fundamental doctrinal pivot. This shift intends to transition the Marina Militare from a force capable of fleet air defense to one possessing autonomous theater ballistic missile defense capabilities. Such a transformation represents a substantial alteration in the national strategic architecture. It places heavy reliance on the modernization of just two hulls to provide a capability set typically associated with much larger fleet structures. Central to this transformation is the integration of the Aster 30 Block 1 NT munition. This development fundamentally alters the strategic utility of the Orizzonte class. In its original configuration, the class was optimized for saturation attacks by supersonic anti-ship missiles and aircraft, a requirement born from Cold War naval planning. The introduction of the Block 1 NT capability suggests a reprioritization toward countering maneuvering ballistic missiles in their terminal phase. From an alliance management perspective, this elevates Italy from a consumer of the NATO security umbrella to an active provider of the integrated air and missile defense architecture. This capability allows Rome to project a zone of denial against ballistic threats originating from North Africa or the Levant, without being contingent on the presence of United States Navy Aegis platforms. Consequently, the operational relevance of these ships transcends naval maneuvers. They become a tool of diplomatic leverage and strategic assurance within the wider Mediterranean basin. The technical pathway chosen to achieve this capability highlights a distinct divergence, a divergence between industrial ambition and joint procurement efficiency. While the Orizzonte program began as a symbol of Franco-Italian cooperation under the Horizon Project, the divergence in the midlife update specifications indicates a prioritization of national industrial sovereignty over commonality. The decision to replace the existing Thales S-1850M volume search radar with the Leonardo Kronos Grand Naval Sensor is particularly significant. This choice integrates active electronically scanned array technology using gallium nitride modules. It offers a quantum leap in energy management and target discrimination required for the ballistic missile defense mission. By selecting a domestic sensor solution rather than aligning with the French preference for the Thales Seafire, the Italian defense apparatus ensures that the intellectual property and upgrade paths for the fleet's primary sensor remain under national control. This move strengthens the position of Leonardo in the global high-end naval market, using the flagship destroyers as an operational demonstrator for export potential. Yet, it introduces a trade-off in terms of logistical interoperability and economy of scale with the French Navy counterparts. Financial scrutiny of the program reveals the complex economics of modern naval warfare. With a projected investment approaching 1.5 billion euro shared between the partners, and the Italian share specifically allocated to systems integration and sensor replacement, the cost per hull is substantial. and this expenditure must be weighed against the prohibitive cost and timeline of commissioning new tonnage. The midlife update serves as a necessary bridge solution. It mitigates the risk of obsolescence before the future DDX destroyer program can deliver operational units in the next decade. However, this investment creates a concentrated risk profile. By pouring nearly €1 billion into just 2 platforms, the Marina Militare accepts that a significant portion of its high-end air defense capital is tied to a numerically limited force structure. Any technical delay in the integration of the new combat management system, or the Kronos radar, would disproportionately impact fleet readiness. There is no redundancy in this specific capability tier. The operational availability challenge posed by this upgrade cycle cannot be overstated. With a fleet of only 2 destroyers in this class, the withdrawal of 1 vessel for the multi-year refit process effectively halves the standing commitment capacity for high-intensity air defense missions. Operational planners will likely be forced to rely more heavily on the FREM frigates to fill routine patrol gaps, although those platforms lack the command and control facilities and raw magazine depth of the Orizzonte class. This constraint highlights a structural fragility in the Italian naval inventory. The pursuit of exquisite technological capability in the Orizzonte class has not been matched by the numerical depth required to maintain continuous deployment cycles without accepting periods of reduced coverage. The reliance on such a small number of hulls for the Ballistic Missile Defense mission implies that, in practice, the capability may be intermittent rather than persistent, depending on the maintenance and training cycles of the individual ships. Furthermore, the incorporation of lessons learned from the Red Sea engagements has necessitated adjustments to the electronic warfare suite. Adjustments that go beyond the original scope of a midlife refresh. The threat of swarming loitering munitions and low-cost drones has demonstrated that expending multi-million euro interceptors against cheap airframes is economically unsustainable. The updated electronic warfare architecture, therefore, represents a shift toward non-kinetic kill chains. This allows the ship to preserve its missile magazines for high-value targets. It indicates a maturing of operational thought within the naval staff, recognizing that magazine depth is not just a function of the number of vertical launch cells, but of the ability to employ the appropriate effector for the threat level. The integration of these electronic warfare capabilities with the new combat management system will be the critical determinant of the ship's survivability in a saturated environment. Ultimately, the Orizzonte midlife update is a microcosm of the broader challenges facing European medium powers. It demonstrates a sophisticated understanding of the changing threat environment, specifically the proliferation of ballistic technology and unmanned systems, and a willingness to invest in high-end solutions to counter them. Yet, the program also exposes the severe limitations imposed by fleet size. The transformation of the Andrea Doria and Caio Duilio into ballistic missile defense platforms ensures their qualitative superiority in the Mediterranean theater for another 15 years. But it does not resolve the strategic dilemma of ubiquity. The modernized ships will be formidable assets capable of altering the local strategic balance wherever they sail. But their scarcity dictates that their deployment will remain a precious resource, carefully rationed by political and military leadership. The success of this program will be measured not just by the technical performance of the Kronos radar or the Aster missiles. It will be measured by the ability of the Marina Militare to manage the delicate transition period, where the operational demands on the fleet are increasing, exactly as the availability of its premier assets is curtailed by the modernization process.